Hi everyone, welcome to the bottom of the barrel. I've included memes in my presentation, so right off the bat, these are the four ingredients that we use in beer. Clockwise from top left, yeast, malt, hops and water. I'm not going to tell you how to make beer, but this is what we use to make beer with. It's all reasonably straightforward. There are many classes you can attend that will teach you. In Germany, they have something called the Reinheitsgebot, which suggests that the only things you can make beer with are malt, hops, yeast and water. This has been the law since the middle of the 16th century in Bavaria, and nationally since the early 20th century. I disagree with that, because individuals like this, your average craft beer drinker, they need something else to go with his Daisy Dukes, his full jug of beer, his full belly of beer, and his semi-empty head. And this is a friend of mine, so I can say all of these things. So, as part of my job as an innovation brewer is I'm trying to make beer or a drink that is unexpected. It doesn't look the way you think it's going to taste, doesn't taste the way you think it's going to look. It's got weird and unusual ingredients in it. It's a little bit more fun than, say, your VB, your Melbourne, what have you. To that end, I have used the lollies formerly known as Redskins to create a beer called Ogden Nash's Pashrash. In the middle is, God, I can't remember what that beer was called. It wasn't very good anyway. The far end was a Chicken Korma beer called Korma Chameleon. Sometimes when you come up with names for beers, people will sue you or send you cease and desist letters. Here is some of the Wall of Fame for people who have suggested that we might need to retitle our beers and that we should not use their images ever again. So one day I was brewing and I was thinking about the greatest rom-com of all time, which is Bad Boy Bubbly, and what beer could I make with that? And for some reason, Bad Boy Bubbly came to mind. So that's the beer I'm going to tell you about tonight. The idea was I'm trying to make a beer that's made from beer ingredients, but looks and tastes like champagne. As you can see here, that's actually champagne. So it's got to be crystal clear. It's got to be sort of straw in colour. Has to have a slight aroma of apples, pears, and it has to be dry, which is why brut is there. In the French sort of vernacular of champagne. So the four ingredients, this is malt, and that is dextrose. Malt is usually what's used in beer entirely, so that gives you colour, flavour, fermentables. With sugar, what we're doing is we're trying to reduce how much body is left in that beer at the end of the fermentation process. These are the hops. So this is Nelson Sauvin hops. Nelson Sauvin hops have characteristics of white grape and passion fruit, like Sauvignon Blanc wine. And also, because it's a New Zealand hop, they're very famous for having aspects of kerosene. So it's a delicate balance of trying to utilise these hops without making it taste like rocket fuel. This is yeast. So pretty much what we want from yeast is, on the top right-hand side, ethanol. That's all we want, with a little bit of flavour. And on the bottom right-hand side, that is a compound called hexyl acetate, which tastes and smells a little bit like apple, in high concentrations, a bit more like blood plum. Water is the fourth and last of these ingredients. So I want this beer to be crisp, and I want it to be dry. So with that in mind, yes, I'm from Ballarat after all. I had to. So with that in mind, I added some minerals to the water to try and make that happen. With that in mind, there are a lot of beers that people produce, and I will name them, just find me afterwards, where they try and make a Mars bar beer or a whatever beer, and they just add flavour to it. I think that's bullshit. You can make that just using those four ingredients. This is the editorial part of the presentation. But this is the finished product. So we filter this extremely finely. We courted another lawsuit by using the woman from the Yellow Glen ad and putting a gas mask on her. And we courted a further lawsuit by calling it barley champagne, And it was a little while before the champagne people sent us a message to say, don't do that. But this all leads to the pinnacle of my life. That includes one child and one wedding. Meeting Nicholas Hope, who was Bad Boy Bubbly from the film. That's me with a beard and the owner of the brewery. Not sure if you can read that review, but probably for the best if you don't look too hard into it. Other aspects of coming up with these sort of recipes, this one here is watermelon in the wheat beer. The second photo is putting sugar onto strawberries to try and extract that strawberry flavour. The last one is a real demonstration of how things can go wrong, and that's when you add way too much blue food colouring to a beer. This is when things go a bit better. So on the left, we've got freeze distillation, so it freezes the water, concentrates the alcohol. The middle one is grapefruit and cucumber, which work together beautifully. And the last one was a dream that a friend of mine had, and he's here somewhere, about a coffee and passion fruit porter. When you're making these things, it's always easy to think, I'm going to add more and more and more to get what I want. What you often need is to actually pull a few things back. So one beer I made in particular, a salted truffle porter, had way too much truffle in it. It was completely undrinkable. We blended it back and made it much more palatable. This, including the somewhat deformed looking person across from me, is the final table at beer judging. So every single one of these beers is a champion in its class, and every single one of these beers has gone through a similar process to what I've just described, and they're all phenomenal.